barbaaray soo bararugo barbaaray kushabegso.
And that's a happier sound, isn't it? The signature tune of Maalmo Dhaama Manta, definitively Somali in style and lyrics. It accompanies a radio drama that goes out every Friday on our Somali language service and on partner stations in 3 of the distinct geographical areas which make up the fractured nation-state we call Somalia. The title means a better life than today, and listeners can vote on the path and decisions the characters take. It's the creation of BBC Media Action, and the project manager is Hoda Hersi. She called me up from Hargeisa to tell me about some of the characters.
We have a couple, Ugasso and Ileys. Ugasso comes from Hargeisa. Ileys originally comes from Mogadishu, but he lives abroad. And so when we first did this relationship, what we wanted was just kind of showing a relationship of somebody coming from the diaspora, and then how Ugasso would marry him and then go abroad. But the feedback changed this relationship. And all of a sudden, this relationship became Somaliland and Somalia. And so they now, Ileys and Ugasso, reflect a bigger issue, which is this marriage or relationship between clans.
So there's opposition from their families to them marrying, is that right?
Yes, sometimes the refusal of these relationships is because it's clan-based. And so they're facing this problem with their parents saying, we don't want you marrying somebody far away from our clan or from our area.
You must get some challenges from the audience on this, because it's so controversial in this part of the world, because some people don't want that idea of unity.
We try to stay away from politics. We don't want to talk about we need to unite 2 different Somaliland and Somalia. If we did that, we'd face a lot more barriers. What we're looking at is kind of like the Somali identity and how these little differences still, we are kind of the same when it comes to that Somali-ness of it. We're still Somali at the end.
Wow,
They still speak the same language. They just speak different dialects. And so Ugasso takes Ileys to a restaurant. She's teaching him that in this culture, this is the food we say this. And he's explaining, oh, I've never heard of that. But in Mogadishu, this is how we say this. And this is the kind of foods we eat. And so there's this one nice little scene where they're teaching each other that there is the small differences.
Ugasso. halahan intiris maxaa cambuulo muufo moos buu ku taymalowaay.
They're having fun with it. So they're in there saying, oh, I never knew that word existed. Oh, what's this food? It's done in a fun manner.
One of the other big issues you mentioned was migration. How does that get reflected in the drama?
We have a specific character that talks about it, which is Ali. And Ali, at the beginning of the drama, is in this dream about how he's going to travel and he's going to go abroad and come back with his money and make a dream for his family. But as the drama goes on a little bit, we ask the community, should Ali actually go abroad? Should he leave or should he stay? And all the feedback came back was Ali should stay, Ali should do his education here and so forth. But when a person decides to stay, what happens? It's just not going to be happily ever after. His wife is trying to convince him that, everybody has left, everybody has gone to these countries, they have now built lives for themselves, they have now been able to sponsor their family to come, they're all living this great life. Why aren't you? And so Ali has to now talk to her about why he doesn't want to go.
Has the story changed lives?
Yes, it has. So we actually recently was doing a story on a young man who wrote to us and told us about his life change in Mogadishu. He didn't live a very good life. He was what he called himself a gangster. And he also wanted to leave the country and migrate. But he listened to the stories, what Ali went through. He listened to the advice Ali was getting from his mother and his friends. And he thought, why don't I try what these people are talking about in the story? So he kind of changed around. He went to school in Mogadishu. He's now a student. He's also opened up a shop for himself. He's become a little bit of an entrepreneur. And it was great to get that story back from him. Ali, the character Ali himself, has changed over the story of his character. So he was telling us at the beginning, before he joined our drama program, he was thinking he would stay, he would work a bit, get enough money to go and do the illegal migration. But while he was acting in this drama, he was getting so much feedback from the community every time he walked through town. People would stop him, people people talk to him, people tell him what he's doing is good, amazing, and it built his confidence in what his role can be in this community.
What about your own story? Because you've kind of had migration in your own story, but you've migrated in the opposite direction.
Okay, so I am from the Somali region of Ethiopia, but I have a lot of family here in Hersi. So it's true, I went in the opposite direction. I grew up in Botswana, and I went to America for my undergrad, moved to UK for my master's. But I find that I came back here. This is home at the end.
And has working on the drama maybe changed the way you feel about your fellow Somalis today?
Yes, I want to say yes, because I grew up abroad. And so when I came back here, this idea of going abroad and that it's so much better there. And when you live there, you are a better person than a person that lives here. This idea, I only really started to look at it and break it down when I was working with this project of really the youth feel like they would be a better person abroad. And it's not like that. And so it's great to show them what they can do here. It's great to find other youth that have managed to make an amazing life for themselves here.
And how close are you to the character Ugasso, the woman from Hargeisa?
I would have to say, okay, again, this is going to come down to myself and my background, but having lived outside of here, when I look at the area and say, well, somebody's from Mogadishu or somebody is from Hargeisa or somebody's from this clan, for myself, I don't see that as being a barrier to have to overcome.
But in the end, the audience is the director, and so it will depend on their wishes.
That is true. However, there's been now a change with the audience because at the end of the day, they said, he's Somali, she's Somali. And what we're hoping at the end of the program, when we say, well, they're going to get married, that everyone will be like, great, we've gone through the barriers, we've gone through their problems, we see that they love each other, let them get married.
She can sing too, right?
Yes, actually, Ugasso is a great singer. So in the drama, Ileys sings to her and she responds saying, oh, I love that song. And to you, I would say, and then she sings the song.
Sounds like you have a little bit of Bollywood influence there. And you heard there from Hoda Hersi of BBC Media Action introducing me to Maalmo Dhaama Manta, A Better Life, which is broadcast on BBC Somali every Friday.